Well, I think what we're seeing actually is that there are strange alliances being formed and not necessarily the rich versus the poor. I think some of the rich nations are aligning with some of the poorer ones and understanding that there's a need for climate justice and there's a need for loss and damage. And some of the others are really worried. And I think understandably so. I know that there are a lot of unknowns. And so some of them are posturing and pushing back a bit. They have valid concerns, but so do the other side. And so we have to find a way to meet in the middle.
You know, for example, the Bahamas is particularly vulnerable to sea level rise and storm damage like many other of the poorer nations. So if you, Racquel, were on that stage today, what urgent financial lifeline do you want to see from richer nations to help out those who really are in need of that financial support?
Certainly. I would look at things like how do we fund loss and damage? Shouldn't we be looking at the cost of oil and gas or the subsidies or some kind of levy against oil and gas that will then help us to sustainably fund loss and damage? I'd also say that let's get specific about the type of funding. We talk about the 100 billion, but that is meaningless unless we're talking about $100 billion worth of grant money, and that's not what we've been talking about. So how do we access more grant funding and more philanthropic funding that can then help to unlock private capital for investment into especially mitigation projects? And then how do we do things like empower the global south to take advantage of blue carbon and other ways of and mobilizing Article 6 and other ways of helping us to fund adaptation, because there aren't cash flows associated with it, so it makes it far more difficult.